I'm no award-winning power lifter, but I still performed an incredible feat of strength today. I watched 3 episodes of She-Hulk. I know. Get your oohs and ahs out of the way. I'm like a circus freak here. How can Charlie do that? You know, what is he a superhuman? Are you kidding me? 3 episodes of She-Hulk in one sitting? That's right, and I only dozed off once. I'm not lying, this isn't clickbait. I really did watch every episode back to back to back. Call me a hero, call me a villain, call me crazy. But I pulled it off. I did. I must have some kind of unique mutation in my own body that enables me to do these kind of things. It's kind of like in the show where Hulk mentions their bodies metabolize alcohol at a much faster rate than normal people. I have that power, but with not good TV shows. I'm sure you've all heard by now, but Marvel's released yet another TV show. It's She-Hulk. And it hasn't been doing that well. In fact, it's been doing pretty awful. Most people on YouTube and Twitter are insulting it and making fun of it. It's really catching more shit than a porta potty toilet seat in a construction site. If you only looked at YouTube titles about this show, you'd probably believe that this show somehow gives you gamma radiation just from watching it. It has been getting absolutely fucking slammed and jammed. And I wanted to watch it to see if it really is as bad as everyone's saying. And I just want to make this video giving my opinions on it so far. I've been very upfront and honest. I don't like the Marvel TV shows. The only one that I've liked is Loki. All the other ones I find just a tedious chore to watch. It's just the same formula every fucking time. And it's not just the TV shows, the movies are now following the same formula, and I'm just tired of it. Every character is quippy and quirky and joking back and forth, and nothing interesting is really happening anymore. So I've just completely lost interest in it. But I did want to give this series a fair shake and form an opinion on it, and that's what I'm going to do here, just share my thoughts on it. So right away, the show's not the worst thing ever created, but it's not good. This is a very sub-mediocre show. The biggest crime this show commits is being boring. There is nothing interesting that's happening in this show whatsoever, nor is there even any hints of anything interesting around the corner. It is very much like a CW show, visually and in terms of its writing. The CGI in this just absolutely broke my heart. I could feel the carpal tunnel, the over-exhaustion from the workers that are forced to work on the CGI for yet another Marvel show. It is clear through their work that they are tired. They need a break, because they're not even fucking trying. Like in the very first episode, a fucking spaceship, floats down and it looks awful. It actually looks like an Adobe After Effects tutorial on YouTube. It is not good, and that level of CGI persists throughout the remaining 2 episodes. I really think they are just overworking their teams now, and they're just constantly like pumping shit out, and they can't keep the quality there, because obviously, they're being stretched so thin. So that's an immediate complaint that I'd like to put out there, but let's talk about a lot of the big things people are focusing on Twitter. The first one was a very viral clip from episode 1 where Jin, She-Hulk, is talking to Bruce, and Bruce is talking about how she needs to control her emotions so that way she doesn't freak out and go Hulk form and kill people by accident like he's experienced, right? So she took great offense to that, saying something along the lines of, "I'm great at controlling my emotions. When I get catcalled on the street, or when men try and critique me in my area of expertise, I am always having to control my emotions and my anger, and I do it much better than you, Bruce." Which is just really fucked up to belittle Bruce. I don't know why she would say that, or why the writers would put that in there as a slap to Bruce, a character with by far the most trauma in the MCU. Most recently, he just lost the love of his life, and he has the only canon suicide attempt in the MCU. It's totally fine to highlight Jin's problems and things that she's experienced that make her upset and all of the legitimate issues she has, but why then make it like a competition of who has the most trauma and say I control anger better than you, Bruce, I have it worse than you, Bruce. That's so fucked up. It's downright disrespectful. So there's a reason why a lot of people were mad about that clip, and seeing it in the context of the show does nothing to make it better. It's still the same awful garbage. Now, the rest of the episode is just boring. It's not very interesting, and they set Jin up as a very unlikable protagonist. Her whole attitude is, "I'm better than you in every single way, Bruce, and I'm just going to keep insulting you." That's all she really does for episode 1. Bruce is doing her best to try and help her, train her, and all she does is shit on him for it, and then constantly turn everything into a pissing contest. It's silly. if you're trying to make people not like She-Hulk, they're doing an absolute amazing job. They're fucking crushing it. Like, this is a smashing display of how to make a protagonist people root against. My biggest complaint by far with this show is the writing. I really just can't stand it because it's very generic Marvel. Everything is superseded with a joke or some kind of quip constantly. Now, I get it. Comic book fans had a whole bunch of copium about this show, like, well, actually, She-Hulk in the comic books is very wacky and zany. She's always making jokes, so it makes sense that her show would be more comedic in tone. And that's fine. Like, that's great. I'm super happy to hear that. But I am so tired of it. Legitimately, the last thing Marvel needed was yet another comedy. Everything they make is a comedy. I don't think there's any lunatic out there that was just like, oh man, I really like Marvel movies and shows, but they're just a bit too serious. I wish they'd give us something a little goofier, you know, a little lighter. None of the characters left in the MCU have their own personalities anymore. They're all following the exact same formula. Every single character is a jokester. They're always fucking joking. And it's like not good jokes. It's just like the most obvious cookie cutter recycled garbage over and over again, just being refed constantly. Like, just so tiresome. I can't help but roll my eyes. Even the villains now are just kind of like an extension of the heroes in that they're always joking. Like, nothing is being taken seriously to even the slightest degree anymore, it feels like. Even the fucking Abomination, who's in this show, is just another clown. Like, he's just making jokes constantly. Talking about writing haikus as well as his 7 soulmates and this and that. Like, it's just too much. It's like going into a middle school classroom during a substitute teacher where every student's trying to make like the best joke all at once and they're all terrible. It's fucking, it's painful. And I get it, this show's supposed to be more comedic because it's certainly not focusing on any kind of like action or like a bigger world building so far. This is a very self-contained unit that has other elements from the MCU like Wong, Abomination, Bruce, but it's very much just like a sitcom with them. It's not like a law drama, so they're not focusing on any part of her being an attorney. Like, yes, it's here, but it's very rudimentary. It's not like anything super compelling. It's really mainly just following She-Hulk as she makes jokes with people around her and becomes a superstar. And now they've brought in like so many other super powered people. There's a tiny little side plot where one like chauvinistic asshole was dating a shape-shifting elf from Asgard who was disguising herself as Megan the Stallion, and now he's suing her for it, and you know, Jin's used in court to testify that that guy's a chauvinistic asshole who's so delusionally thought it could have been the real Megan the Stallion. Like, it's all just so fucking dumb. And this is where another big viral Twitter clip comes in of people making fun of the show. At the end of that episode, that's episode 3, there's a post-credit scene where She-Hulk is twerking with Megan the Stallion. And yeah, you know what? It's pretty cringe, but it doesn't bother me. I don't care. It's a post-credit scene. Let them have fun. I don't know why people are making a big hoopla about it. Like that, I have no gripes with that whatsoever. You know, it's not something that had me giggling or getting hype, but I wasn't like upset by it. I wasn't mad about it. I mean, plenty of post-credit scenes in Marvel have been really fucking silly too, so I don't think there's anything super different about that. It's just the whole show itself isn't very good. To me, this whole show just feels soulless, just very robotic and by the numbers, as if they just took a random character from Marvel and plugged them into an MCU media algorithm and it pumped out this entire script in a day. All just written by AI, all just very formulaic. It feels like there's no passion behind it. It just feels like it was made because they need to keep making Marvel stuff to keep people subscribed to Disney+. So they just pump out as much as they can, as quickly as they can, for as many characters as they can to keep that train rolling. There's just nothing at all happening right now. At the end of episode 3, she does get into a bit of a fight, a little scuffle, which is the first fight of the show outside of episode 1. And it's against just 4 no-named nobody henchmen in an alley. And they're wielding crowbars and a mace and like a needle. And there's little particle effects coming off of them. So she easily dispatches them by just doing this. It's kind of like a Detroit urban survival training course where Dale's telling you just like how to tackle 5 assailants all at once, where you just go in a circle and like slap their back. That's how she fights. You know, obviously she overpowers all of them. She's the fucking She-Hulk. But like they couldn't have at least made the fight a little more interesting. Like they'll hit her with the mace, she doesn't feel it, and then she just slaps to the side or throws to the side or throws up, and like that's it. It's just the action's not fun to watch. There's no like drama, there's no stakes, there's nothing besides just jokes. And I just really think that's really run its course. It's not very entertaining. Maybe it'll get better in the next few episodes. I couldn't tell you, but I don't really see where it goes from here. They're trying to set something up because the bad guys at the end there say, you know, the boss isn't gonna like this or whatever. So it's trying to maybe set something up, but it's just not interesting. Yeah, anyway, that's really like my full thoughts on the show so far. I'll probably finish it just to see where it goes, if it goes anywhere at all. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya.